What's up, you guys? It's Ania's World, and I'm backing up with another video. Before we get into this video, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want. I am just happy that you're here. If you already subscribe and you watch all of my fucking videos, thank you for being here again. I appreciate you with all of my might, and I'm sending you superpowers, healing powers, any kind of motherfucking power. With that being said, let's get right into the video. You have not seen this fucking microphone since when? Tell me when the last time you said, oh, when I talked about my codependency problems and I told you the story time of my childhood and what affected it. So now we're gonna have that kind of type of video today. I posted on my Instagram. I'm not gonna act like I'm jumping, motherfucker. My Instagram story is jumping, because it isn't. My Instagram story is not jumping. It's actually plummeting fast. I only get 20 views on my story. Yep. Maybe you should go follow me so I could turn the 20 to 25. Yeah, I think we should do that. You should go follow all of my social medias right now. With that being said, okay? They'll be linked down right here and linked down in the bio. Or if they're not linked down in the bio, just copy and paste and send them. With that being said, I asked Instagram and I said, what do you guys want me to talk about? My first one was, we need to have this conversation before I turn 20. I am not having children. And then my second one was, we need to have this conversation. How the woman in my family failed me, okay? And I had 3 people vote on how the woman in my family failed me, and somehow me talking about why I don't want to have kids is not that interesting. What's interesting is my trauma. And you know, I agree to some fucking point. With that being said, if you hear screaming fucking children, I got taken to the park and I was like, this is a good fucking opportunity to sit up and make a YouTube video, so that when we're talking about children and growing up and how we become people in our lives and our new lives and what makes us and all that kind of stuff. So why not go to the park with a whole bunch of mothers and fathers and lovely, stinky, smelly, bitchy children? This is so bad. Okay, so what brought me to this topic that I'm about to talk about? I wanted to call this video so badly on my Instagram story, how the women in my family did not teach the the next generation of women how to be real women. I want to say this before we get into it. I'm not talking about men today. So please do not come on here saying, well, what about the dads? Every man in my family is a fuck nigga. I don't know one man in my family who isn't a fuck nigga. So I could go on all day about how those men in my family are fuck niggas, but I'm not a man. The men failed me, but I'm also, a man can't teach a woman how to be a woman. A man cannot teach a woman how to be a woman. A woman teaches a woman how to be a woman. You know, because growing up as a little girl, who did we watch the most? Our aunts, our our sisters, our mothers, because we looked up to them and what we want to be when we grow up, or what we want to be when we are women. And that's why men kind of, you know, again, fuck niggas, tend to blame women, saying, well, you wear long nails and you twerk, and that's why your 5-year-old daughter, every time City Girls comes on, she twerks, right? You know what I mean? Because me, only speaking for me, growing up as a little girl, I looked up to my aunties. I have 14 aunties. Let's make that clear. I looked up to them on who I should be as a woman. But then I also did not really grow up around those 14 aunties. I kind of seen them, but I wasn't like moved by them. The real women around me were my mom's best friends that I called my aunties my whole life. These 4 women. What should we call their fucking posse? I don't know. Because there's L, M, my mom, S. That's the 5 posse. Well, right now it's not really 5 because them niggas, like, they are always falling out. But let's talk about my childhood and this one is going to be a little bit so my childhood and how I grew up and how the women in my family, you know, I'm gonna tell you guys a couple memories that I could learn off top of my head. My mom has a best friend. Hey love, I love this woman to death. We're gonna call her M. M has been in nothing but bad relationship after bad fucking relationship. And let me explain to you. Ever since I have known M, she has had a man or she has longed for a man, right? And only reason why I'm bringing up M so much is because M is one of the people that I actually do be like, oh yes, that's my auntie, because this is a person that I've seen since I have been young. And when M's longest relationship was the one that all of my cousins, their kids, and all of us seen, that was kind of like, damn, this is what we stand for? This is what we're gonna show our kids how to love and how we want to be loved? My first memory with M was that I was abused as a child, and I think I made that very clear. I was abused as a child. My first memory of M, she was pregnant, and when she was pregnant, she was with the baby's father. The baby's father is Jamaican. The baby's father, at this point, we've seen her yell at him. We've seen her talk about getting cheated on. We've seen her cry. We've seen her take him back. We've seen everybody try to beat this nigga up, but she keep going back. So at this point, he's very abusive. And she's pregnant, and I don't know, because I am at a very young age where I can't comprehend shit. I can't comprehend sense of humor, if parents are being for real or not, because I have been abused before. So when I see abuse, this is how I react. I don't know what conversation they were having before then, but I guess she was acting up, so he got a branch off of the tree. And he was trying to be funny and hit her in front of me and my mom, because we were in my mother's car and they got in with us. And he was trying to hit her with the branch and be like, oh, if you act up, I'm gonna hit you. I remember sitting there so afraid, even if it was a fucking joke, so afraid and being like, what the literal fuck? He's really gonna hit her. So when the Jamaican, her baby father, finally leaves the car, I remember having a really serious conversation at such a young age and saying, you need to leave him. He is trying to abuse her. That is not okay. You should not be with somebody like that, M. And I remember I threw out the branch, so when he got back in the car, the switch was not in there no more for her to hit him. I was trying to protect her. Ooh, there's a thing. And that's M. Now, I am about to be 20 years old, and M is still in the same cycle that she was in when she was younger, while she was in her late 20s, early 30s. M is still being cheated on. M is still crying every night about not wanting to be alone. M just entered in another relationship with a convict who is cheating on her, and she took him back. M has 4 kids. M does all of this in front of those 4 kids. I could go on and on and on. But I can't just get on her. I have to get on all of them and all the women. And I'm not saying, oh, they're horrible people because of what they went through. They are not horrible people for what they went through. I'm just saying these are the women that I watched while I was growing up. Okay? We're gonna get on my mom now. My mom, for the first half of my life, she has had a relationship with various of men. My mom has never been alone until recently. She has not been in a full-blown relationship for the last 2 years. But for the first half of my life, I've seen my mom with various men. And I don't even really want to go into it. But there has been several times where my mother has chose the men over her own family. And I watched my mom get hit. I watched my mom be abused. I watched my mom be verbally abused in front of me, where I was like, I have to protect her. And my earliest memory of one of my mom's boyfriends was that she had, we're gonna call him Jay. Who gives a fuck about him? He doesn't have enough money to sue me. That's his nickname. Jay was much younger than her, about like 3-4 years. He was like 20 and my mom was like 29, right? And they had a very on and off relationship that they would fight, they would scream, they would yell, and then he would leave the house because my mom would kick him out. And then the next night you would see him walk into the house and be like, hey y'all, hey. So one of these nights my mom sat in front of me and said, Zania, I am never going back to this man ever again. And I take people's words very seriously, right? Somebody sitting in front of me saying, Zania, I will never go back to somebody while I am at such a young age. I believed her. 3 days later, knock, knock, knock. Who's at the door? Oh, don't worry about it. I was sitting at the table. I forgot if I was eating dinner or if I was watching, or if I was doing homework. But Jay walked through the door. And I remember him just smiling and waving, and me just sitting there so angry and like filled with nothing but anger, wanting to hurt this man. Because why would my mom want to go back to somebody like this? Why would she go back to somebody like this? And then that kept on continuing until my mom finally left him. And then not even a week of my mom saying she will never be with another man until she loves herself. We meet Elle. Elle gets in the car of us barely knowing him. And all of a sudden, Elle went from a stranger that we just went to Castles and Coasters with to not even a couple days later to our stepdad, because he is fully moved in and my mom doesn't give a fuck about what we're saying, because that is our new stepdad. That is her new boyfriend and we have nothing to say about it. Okay, well maybe he's cool. A day in, the abuse starts. He thinks it's okay to whip out a belt because my little sister wasn't listening. And that was the moment where I was like, oh yeah, I don't fuck with you. Mom, you need to leave him. That relationship lasted for 3 years. I watched my mom with big bruises walk around the house. He would leave the house and she'd be like, I'm going to leave him. I'm going to leave him. I swear. He'd be back the next day. He hit on her. He beat her. She would bring the mattress in their room into my bedroom and have literal conversations with me on how she is going to leave him, and she swears she's going to leave him, and then 2 weeks later she is back in the room with him and we all a happy family. And then she leaves him, and then she starts spiraling. She starts meeting a couple men, and then one kind of stuck. But then he got deported. But before he got deported, there was 3 months where I didn't see my mom. I didn't rarely talk to her. I was in a really bad spot with my mother. And it was kind of like, oh, mom's in love, so she needs to go handle business. Oh, mom's in love, so you need to watch your little sister really quick and make food and make sure she goes to school because mom is in love. And then he got deported. And now mom is spiraling. She's sad. What is she gonna do? Maybe she should comfort her children, but she doesn't. Because not even a couple weeks later, we meet D. D went from somebody that my mom thought was so ugly and didn't want to be with to our stepdad. And I love D. But it was actually toxic again for 3 years. The on and off, the screaming, the going back, the I am so in love to the I don't know what to do anymore. And then she left him because he stole our car and he cheated. And then I was there. No, don't go back to him, don't ever go back to him, leave him, Mom, to now 5 months later I'm crying, cleaning out the refrigerator, saying it's either me or him. And she says, well, I would rather him here than you. That was so hurtful. So then, now that we're off of my mom, a next thing that I've learned was with my Auntie M. And this is such a small little thing, but with my Auntie M, she was very young at this point. And I'm not saying she has bad relationships with men that she went back to, but this was one of my memories that I had with me and how I'm thinking is that my Auntie M and her boyfriend, because she lived with us for a little bit of time, this was like early 2012, 2013. I remember they got into an argument and they weren't talking, and I was like, I will be your therapist, let me help you out. Mind you, I am only 10, 11, 9, 10, 11. And I'm sitting here and they're like kind of laughing at me and kind of like being funny and being like, let's talk out our problems. And I remember sitting there like real life taking it serious. Let me help you guys. Like, what's wrong? Like, I can help you, right? And I could go through all of my aunties over and over. Like my Auntie S. That's what we're going to talk about. My Auntie S has a full-on relationship right now with a married man and doesn't care about it, who's a deacon, right? I have seen nothing but struggle love my whole life. My mom, my aunties, and the women close to me have failed the women and children in our life because I was never taught how to leave. I was never taught how to love myself. What I was taught was to stay. Fight it out. He cheats, you stay. He cheats, you scream. He cheats, you scream louder. He cheats, you stay longer. You fight it out. You love him as long as you can love him. Oh, he's broken. He's broken, but that's okay. I could fix him. We could fix broken men. We're the family of fixing those kind of men. Okay. Well, now, the women and the men are now hitting the ages of 13 and older. And look at who they are now. The generation of women, including my aunties and my mom and my grandmas, are now looking up to our generation, 13 and up, now that we're older, and are wondering, well, why are you like this, Zania? Or why are your sisters like this? Who taught you this? Not me. I didn't teach you how to stay in a horrible relationship for 6 months. I didn't teach you how to do that. Well, you also didn't teach me how to love myself. You never spoke life into me, told me that I was so much more better without anybody. I didn't need nobody. But now, the only spoken language I know is fight, struggle, love until you cannot love that person anymore. Don't leave them, let them leave you, because when they leave you, they're gonna come back. Even though that they cheated and they lied and they did all of these things, love them. Keep on loving them. And don't stop loving them, because if you stop loving them, you're a failure. And since you're a failure, you need to go out and find somebody else to love, because you're not gonna be happy alone. How are you gonna be happy alone, right? Get into another relationship. Go get over it. Don't heal. Go love again. Go try to find somebody else to take all of your sadness away. And everything that I have learned from this situation is that, everything that I have learned from this is that motherfuckers need to heal. don't have children if you have not healed yourself. But what I actually learned is that how can I replicate a beautiful relationship, or how can I become a better person if the women in my family or around me have never taught me how to be a real woman? And a real woman isn't a woman who stays, isn't a one who's ride or die. That's not a real fucking woman. A real woman is somebody who could get up and say, well, you're disrespecting me and I'm about to go elsewhere. And the elsewhere isn't with another man. The elsewhere is with themselves. Loving themselves, understanding themselves, speaking life into themselves. Well, you're disrespecting me. Let me go elsewhere. Let me go love on my children. Let me wait for a relationship. Well, you don't love me. Okay, you're bad. I'm not gonna go back to you once you leave. You disrespected me. You cheated on me. Yeah, I'm not staying for that. I'm leaving. Oh, I don't need you. Like, I don't need you because I love myself. The women in my family have never taught me. They failed me because they never taught me how to love myself, how to care for myself, how to not feel alone and be okay with it, how to not care if people leave my life, and how to not try to fight for things that are not fighting for me. The women in my family failed me because they never taught me how to be a real fucking woman. And that's the fucking truth. And that's the truth. And that's the motherfucking truth. And I feel as if I missed any kind of points, or if anybody wants to talk a little bit more about something that I didn't say, or if I should have said, or if you want to have a conversation in the comments, let's have it. I don't want to make this video too long. I'm probably going to make a part 2 where I go more in depth of stories that I've been through, but that's all I gotta say. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you later.